What's up guys, NazUFC here, welcome back to another video. So EA Sports UFC 5, they've put a new post up on their website and they've made a few changes to the UFC 5 game according to the feedback that we gave them during the closed beta. So about a month ago, players like myself on PlayStation and Xbox, we tested UFC 5 in this closed beta and we basically found a bunch of issues and we gave feedback in these Discord servers, and so EA, they've read all that feedback and they've made changes. So I'm gonna go over the gameplay changes now. So it's just a massive patch list, and I'm gonna just share my thoughts with it too. So blocking was being broken too easily. I agree. I was block breaking people easily. I was also a victim to it, which says something. My defense is pretty good, and if I'm struggling to defend against like block break pressure, then I'm guessing players who aren't as good as me are going to struggle too. And it sucked. And all I wanted, and I said this in my close beta review video, was all I wanted was the block health to be similar to UFC 4. And that's exactly what they've done. So blocking was in the middle of tuning in the closed beta build. It was weaker compared to UFC 4, but has returned to its original strength for the launch. So it's basically going to be the same as current UFC 4. So this next one, I'm a bit like in the middle because I never complained about the jab ever. I've never called someone like a jab spammer or stop using jabs, it's cheese. But players were complaining about the jab on UFC 5. They said jabs are too good for block breaking, and so another block breaking issue. The jab has been severely nerfed. We did 3 things with the jab. Nerf the stopping power from 40% to 30%. You need to hit people earlier in order to stop them with the jab. So if you played UFC 4, you know that sometimes when you throw a jab, you can stop a player in their tracks, which essentially frame traps them. And that gives you the ability to quickly land like a hook before they block. And they've basically reduced the chances of that happening now. And it's not something you can intentionally do because you never know when a person's going to throw a strike, and then you've got input delay on UFC 4. But it's you can't intentionally do it. You can work out good timing after playing the game for a while, but it's something that I can't just go in there and intentionally do because you never know when your opponent's going to throw a strike. It's more of a guess. But yeah, they've addressed the jab. They've even nerfed the jab damage by 20%. So the jab's essentially useless. So thanks EA. Additionally, we nerfed the damage of the straight cross. So the straight cross, which is literally just a 1-2 combo, by 10%, which will further help to limit the jab to straight combo effectiveness at block breaking. Crazy. Knee and elbow combos are too strong. So yeah, big issue on UFC 4. I got good enough to be able to beat knee and elbow like spammers, and I figured out a bunch of counters, but those counters are really high level. They're really high level. I don't think a casual player could just come in there and do those counters. So I don't want to deal with knee elbow spammers on UFC 5. I think, it's about time EA have fixed this issue. I know they've changed the animation of the knee so that if someone does throw a knee at you and you throw a hook, then you'll both trade. But on UFC 4, if someone threw a knee and you threw a hook, your hook would miss because they'd lean back and their knee would land. So they've fixed that. And they've also slowed down like the elbows to knee combos and shit. So the knee elbow has been completely fixed. Head movement consumes too much stamina. I actually didn't complain about this. I actually was happy that the head movement was consuming too much stamina because a big issue in UFC 4 was, people that bobblehead, like spam head movement, and you couldn't hit them because they're just literally just guessing, and, they should be punished for spamming head movement. And so players were doing that on the beta. They were still bobbleheading and spamming head movement, and they were losing all their stamina. I thought, mate, it's your own fault for spamming head movement. You should have just used it slightly, And I thought that was a change that they made to address bubble spam, but no, now they're gonna just make it fucking shit again. So fixed lunges were also made to consume less stamina. Excessive tracking of strikes. Wait, they didn't really address the issue of head movement consuming too much stamina, to be honest. I thought they would have. Excessive tracking of strikes. We have fixed an issue that made strikes track more than they should. Yeah, so I actually complained about this, and Whenever I knock someone down near the cage and I followed up with a hook, like the hook would always land and flash them, and I was doing that a lot consistently. I was just like, what the fuck? That was easy. And like you can do that on UFC 4, but it's extremely rare. But on UFC 5, it was happening like 80% of the time. Like you knock them down near the cage and they're in that falling animation, and you just land another strike and they're out. So that kept happening. So they fixed that. What's this? Ground and pound reversals are too easy. We have made noticeable changes to how stamina behaves during ground and pound attacks. So I didn't actually notice this. Reversals will now probably require setups such as the attacker throwing multiple punches and missing a few to concede the stamina advantage required for a big reversal. On the other side of this change, head movement from the submissive fighter will not consume as much stamina. Please note, however, that the ground and pound elbows are high risk and reward strike and can be reversed by head movement, even without a stamina lead from the defender. So basically, if you're doing ground and pound against your opponent and they slip one of your straight hands, you're not going to get reversed because it's considered like a safe strike. But if you throw an elbow right away and they slip that, then you're going to get reversed because the elbow does a lot more damage and you should be punished if you missed it. So that's basically what they're trying to say. And I think this is an issue on UFC 4. Sometimes when you knock someone down and you throw a straight, they can reverse you straight into mount, and it's just so stupid. So I'm glad they've addressed that, to be honest. Too many knockdowns can happen. Yeah, I can't remember too many knockdowns happening on this game. I remember loads of stuns happening, not a lot of knockdowns. Fighter resilience and health events have been changed, resulting in few instances of repeated knockdowns before a knockout occurs. We will continue to tune this variable and others that are related following post-launch feedback. I see. So basically they're going to give us an opportunity to give feedback once the game releases again. So they're going to make another change according to feedback. But now here we go, guys. Doctor stoppages. So this is what I complained about during the closed beta. So we'll see if they've addressed the issue I was complaining about. So doctor stoppages can happen without the injury looking severe enough. That's not what I complained about. In the closed beta, the doctor stoppages did trigger properly according to the amount of damage dealt by the visuals might have not looked accurate. This is specific to swelling stoppages. The eye might not have swelled shut, or the forehead bump might not have grown big enough. This has been fixed since the closed beta. Yeah, I didn't really complain about that. I complained about doctor stoppages being too easily to get, and I noticed all I had to do was cut my opponent once and just keep focusing that side of their face, and it usually took like a round, if not like a round and a half. And as soon as it went red icon, all I had to do was run away, and it was so easy to get the referee to step in. And there's so many techniques you could do, like pushing him away, keeping him away, taking him down, and forcing a referee stand up to create that distance. It was the distance that you had to create for the referee to step in, and yeah, so the referee will stop the action and either stop the fight or give a warning. I think it's 50-50 on whether they stop it or whether they warn you. And yeah, if they warn you, all you have to do is hook him again so he gets cut again, or it opens up again and you just run away again, and it's just a repeat process, and you'll definitely get in the second time, I believe. But yeah, so they haven't addressed that issue, and I believe I was the only one complaining about that issue. So that's why, but they should have. I told a lot of players, a lot of game changers about the issue, and they were made aware of it, and they also agreed that it was quite overpowered. So that's going to be something you notice straight away when you play UFC 5, that doctor stoppages occur too easily. The straight to lead overhand combo is too fast. Yeah, it was way too fast. Both the regular and slipping versions are fixed for launch. They have been slowed down, and the version that played an advancing overhand instead of a stationary one is now playing the stationary one. let me read that again because I confused myself. They have been slowed down, and the version that played an advancing overhand instead of a stationary one is now playing a stationary one. And yeah, so I noticed they fixed this issue because I played it during the closed beta, and then I watched I Am a Boxer's clip of him using that Israel Adesanya alter ego, and he did a slip straight overhand, and I noticed it was really slow, and it's slow. It's slower than UFC 4s, and the closed beta was much faster than UFC 4s. So they've nerfed that significantly. It's really slow, by the way. The way it's a lot slower than UFC 4s, and it just doesn't look effective. It's not a good combo at all. So that's not a meta combo anymore. Um, Although the UFC 5 one was really fast, it wasn't doing a lot of damage. Like it wasn't knocking them down. But the UFC 4 one, it usually like stuns them or knocks them down. UFC 5 one, it wasn't doing them crazy damage, if I'm being honest. New uppercut animation looks awkward. So yeah, it was awkward. I would like to see how they've addressed this. I haven't seen the new uppercut animations yet, but maybe they've just made it smoother. But it looked really arcadey to me. Fighters get stuck when entering some submissions. Yeah, I actually complained about one of these. So I think I went for like a pull guard and then a double leg bail, then you pull guard and you do like an omoplata, right? And it just freezes the game, and then the referee can't tells you to stand up, but then the clock freezes, the game breaks. So I'm glad they fixed that issue. Releasing the struggle from the heel hook can prevent transitions from happening for a while. Yeah, so when you're in that heel hook animation, struggle basically just means you're holding down the right bumper, R1, or on Xbox it's called RB. If you hold that down, you struggle, which means you're both losing stamina because you're like squeezing technically, and you're both losing stamina. But if you let go of that button, you're meant to be able to transition, but it was taking too long to transition, so they fixed that. Ref interruptions for doctor checks happening when fighters are in the middle of action. So I didn't actually notice this. I found it that the ref wouldn't come in. If you were fighting and you were coming forward, the ref wouldn't step in. But people were saying they were stepping in, and they were saving fighters from being finished and stuff. And I never had that. If I cut my opponent and I kept coming forward and he kept coming forward, the referee never stepped in. And if you wrestled me or I wrestled him, the referee would never pause the action. You had to have distance, you had to run away, and that's how I made the referee like interrupt and pause the action. Stamina is too abundant, especially in the stand-up. Yeah, you had a lot of stamina in the closed beta, I can't lie. Like, you just did not run out of stamina. With the buffs to defense, it's easy to make opponents miss and drain more of the stamina. The increased defensiveness pace of the fight is also likely to open opportunities for more body shots. Ooh, I like body shots, which drain stamina as well. Stamina is among the trickiest element to tune because there are direct and indirect factors that add up and cause a snowball effect. We are treating stamina tuning as a very high priority for our future updates, and we know how important it is for the matches to have an authentic flow. We will continue to monitor community feedback on how stamina cost feels during the matches. So they haven't actually changed anything. They feel like other changes that they've made will make it easier for your opponent's stamina to drain, but they've not made changes yet. And I remember when they tried tuning the stamina on UFC 4, and it created so many glitches, like the stamina drain glitch in the clinch. It was bad, and they had to hotfix it and just revert back to what they had. It was bad. So then they need to figure out how to fix stamina before they rush and tune it straight away. Presentation. So that's basically all the gameplay changes. Jittery arcade camera. So I never actually played around with the arcade camera, but some people did, and they said it was jittery. I don't know why you would need the arcade camera. So the arcade camera is meant to move more quickly to prioritize staying perpendicular to the fighters and maintaining the directional inputs more consistent. Even so, there were camera issues that made some emotions more jittery than they had to be. The camera has been improved since the beta build. All right, cool. I'm not really bothered about that. Actually, I'm bothered about this. Wrong camera during ground fighting. So whenever you wrestle and you went into like half guard, the camera would just loop around and like it would be watching you from a different POV than it's meant to, and all the transitions were opposite. So if it looked like he was moving left, you had to deny right, and it was just really badly confusing you. And it used to happen in a lot of the submission positions. So I'm glad they fixed that. So they've said several cases of certain grappling moves breaking the ground camera have been fixed since the closed beta. The beta did reveal a couple new instances which are targeted to be fixed in post-launch patches. Bro, it was really confusing. Like it just was. Lack of referee interactions. So I don't know what they mean by this yet. This is an issue that has seen improvement since the beta. We have several animations for the actual ref interactions, and we're still improving the logic that makes them trigger properly and more frequently. We will keep working on them to make physical interactions, especially the heavier ones, happen as frequently as they can. So I'm guessing they're talking about like the ground and pound where they jump in and throw you off sort of things. It happened quite a bit when you were in full guard. Um, not so much in like top mount and the other positions, but we'll see. Fighters may slide upon being struck. Legs can appear too wobbly when struck. Arms can flail too much on big hit reactions, and fighter reactions can look unnatural during simultaneous hits. So they fixed that. I noticed whenever you kick someone's legs, it was quite delayed when they were like stubble and stuff. Maybe that's part of the game, but I don't know. It was kind of weird. Like you'd kick someone's leg, and a few seconds later, then they'll stubble. But it was weird. Um, Fighters may slide upon being struck. I think that's an issue on UFC 4 too. Like sometimes when you punch someone, they like slide back and they come forward immediately. Maybe they're on about that, but I don't know. All right, cool guys. That's basically it. Please drop a like on this video, subscribe. You can check this website out yourself, by the way. The website, if you just search in UFC 5 news, UFC 5 post beta changes, you can find this website and take a look through it yourself. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.